against the wall. That being said, Zomba has the ability to show so many different looks and be so flexible with his offense and his defense. I mean, it's what won him game 2 in their prior set, and what keeps all of these sets so close is that he'll show something that Jakal either hasn't seen before or wasn't ready to defend against.
Like, on the note of those adaptations, I think, like, Zomba's gonna have to try to figure out a way to augment them a bit heavier than he normally does, because, like, yes, especially on PS2, R.O.B can play defensively, and yes, we expect Zomba to do a bit more of the rushdown, do a bit more of the boxing, but it's not leaning too heavily one way or the other with Zomba's play. I think Jakal does a much better job of being able to be fluid with his gameplay, and it's why we typically see him take to the forefront in these sets. Although, off the cut, it looks like it's gonna be the Zomba start.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's R.O.B down here. It's pretty good.
It sure is. Like, it's huge. It lasts for, what?
The spike itself is 7 frames.
7, that's the one, yeah. Like, it is egregiously effective. As Down Smash proves to not be. Malfunctioning a little bit on Jakal, but don't worry, forward tilt comes through to even up the stock count with not too much damage to speak of.
Well, not going for the gyro out of shield, instead just trying to jump away and avoid platform pressure as much as he can. I mean, scrapping with R.O.B isn't always the best thing you want to do, especially in such tight quarters. I like that spot dodge coming out from Zomba, really trying to expect the playing out of shield from Jakal, who frequently goes for nairs and fairs. Trying to keep this percent lead as much as possible, but a quick grab before Zomba has a chance to react.
I feel like we've been seeing a lot more of the juggle setups from Jakal tonight than we normally do. I'm here for it. I think it's a really good addition to his typical assault. Although Zomba seems to be playing the aerial play just fine. Solid anti-air is going to net him another stock.
Trying to land with these forward airs. Jakal needs a big finisher here. But Zomba may not let him have it. The coverage that comes from these, even the small lasers, able to make up for R.O.B's, make up for his own commitment to one direction by covering the cross-up. Super clean stuff from Zomba's part. I mean, any damage is good damage.
Yes, sir. Especially as that damage manages to find these interactions more and more to the ledge in Jakal control, because that's where he's able to do something with all of his damage. Sometimes you just need it at center stage, though. A great response to all of that close-range boxing on shield. You got to be careful with those buttons on block.
Yeah, catching that overextension. I mean, Zomba wants to set up tech chases. He wants to set up these down tilt chains at these percents, close out the game before it gets, before Jakal is able to get any sort of momentum on his side. Really getting him called out for that. See if that continues throughout the set. That was so super late in there, catching Zomba dropping shield.
Yeah, it like started while Wolf was like sitting on his head in shield, but regardless, it's not enough to crack open Zomba. Zomba takes that game 1, and I don't know, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe we do get the reset.
It could be. The world may never know.
I mean, I feel like this entire day we've seen Pokemon Stadium 2 and nothing else.
Statistically speaking, it's gonna favor a lot of characters and players in the tri-state area. Like, I know people love to call Pokemon Stadium the insert region here stage pick, but like, statistically, it's how you want to play out a lot of matchups. Like, you want a lot of space. You want options by way of platform or larger ledge space. Like, you want earlier vertical kills. Like, you want that wiggle room to play off stage. When you look at the characters that are on screen right now, it makes perfect sense to play PS2 time and time again.
Just roll straight back through it. And both of them have proved they can win and lose on this stage with the greatest of consistency. Oh, the trade.
A single hit of armor. Oh no.
Spaceys never catch a break.
Now Wolf sank like stone there. That was
Oh,
unnecessary. Oh, it's a rough bit. Like, you're off stage as a Spacey, like, you know you're not in for a fun time. Regardless of how many resources you have.
Oh, Jakal with the Zomba with the attempted mix-up, but missing that tech, allowing for the late hit dash attack, and Jakal keeps in it, pounding at Zomba's heels.
Trying to find something out of the corner here. It's, I think, fine to play out of the corner as Jakal here. You just got to be mindful of when Zomba makes those big calls, because if there's any player in this venue who's going to have an idea of picking out your habits and exploiting them, it's gonna be the man who plays you on an almost regular basis.
Ooh. I mean,
the same can be said on both ends, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, they have each other's habits, like, down pat.
You know, Wolf back air is an egregious move, and Wolf's a crazy good character, but I don't think I'll ever get tired of seeing Bear Bear. It's just so satisfying.
Yeah, it's cool. Honestly, and I know this phrase gets memes on high hell, he needs it. You need to do something with all of that aerial pressure, and his combo game is fairly linear. Like, let him have a kill move. Look how many R.O.B has.
Yeah, he needs it. In order to be a top 5 character, he needs it. And that's already an arguable statement.
You know what they need, though? They need that gyro. I feel like both players need to figure out a way to get gyro within their control, either from Jakal being able to neutralize it as a tool that Zomba has, or a tool that Zomba needs in order to completely cement the victory.
I mean, you see it. Zomba's kind of hesitant to throw it out some of these times. Oh, gets the up tilt. Has a fully charged laser on deck. The F took the wrong direction. He felt the roll coming, but it was just slightly misspaced. Minor execution errors can mean a whole lot. Oh, no up smash. I guess Jakal wanting to keep it safe. At 141, you can play the game a little bit slower. Eventually, some things will kill as long as you are able to hone down, wear Zomba down, and wear him down he does with that air dodge. Not many places to go with the burner, with less and less fuel thanks to the up B.
This is what I was talking about earlier, where I think Jakal really hits his stride, is when he's right in your face, but right outside of your burst range, where no button is quite safe enough to just throw out in retaliation, yet Jakal sits in a position where, as long as he reacts properly, he is completely picking you apart for pressing a button. I think it's going to behoove Zomba to try to hold back a little bit more, wait for these reactions. And I see him shaking his head there before we transition into Game 3. Hopefully Zomba can shake himself awake to reset this bracket. Otherwise, it's a quick end to tonight's fusion.
I mean, he was contemplating coming here today at all, but, I mean, how can you resist another set with Jakal? It's a weekly thing.
I would love to see these two play at a major just so someone has to, like, shit out the stat of how often they fight each other.
Oh my god, the Smash Shadow would go crazy.
PG Stat's about to go stupid with this one.
What do you mean they've played 35 times?
Bro, I would believe that in, like, by the end of the quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless, like, they got it into Game 3 here. It's on Zomba if we're getting another set out of it. Like, the way that Jakal's playing this out as a response to the defensive R.O.B play, I think it's gonna lean to a Jakal kind of night.
And it's great because of how he's tightened his cone a little bit more on PS2. He plays when hunting for Zomba's air dodges and for these for these juggling situations. He plays mostly on the inside of the platforms, not as wide as he had been prior. And that's absolutely huge to limit the range, limit his effective range, and almost keep himself in check and not try to extend too far.
And I think it also gives him a really good range of being able to react accordingly, just building it back into that narrative with good Jakal reactions. Like, if you see Zomba trying to press out a button and you have the space to be able to blow him up for it, like, you might as well just sit there and wait. Off stage, though, you don't get those kind of opportunities. Zomba gonna find the opportunity to get the stock, ties it up, but he's got to do something about this damage as well.
Oh, it's getting out of hand, and especially without a jump here, that's a dead wolf.
Yep. That's one way to take care of the problem.
Yeah, just don't get hit for it.
Yeah, it's that easy. Do you struggle with a wolf and you're local? Just don't get hit. Simple.
Just win, idiot.
The general objective is to make sure that you deal damage to your opponent while not taking damage of your own. Results may vary.
Frequently in this case, as the grab comes in. Yeah, just going for the forward throw. No throw is killing with Wolf at that spot. There.
We're getting to those percentages where back throw might kill off the top, regardless of it being from out deep.
Oh, that was such a clean mix-up from Zomba. Just the empty landing off stage like that. And now back at neutral is exactly where Jakal doesn't want to be. Because even if you were at ledge, you could play around. You could play around Zomba being to the utmost effectiveness, but now it. Like,
oh, there you go. Goodbye.
Yeah. At center like that, it was like he basically took 50 in order to find that back throw. But I mean, anything you can do, I can do better. We've been seeing these two players one-up each other for weeks on end.
Oh, Jakal needed that. Finally finding the timing for where to put Nair above back air. Because Zomba's been putting out Bear as a great response to all of these late Nairs that Jakal's been forcing on him this entire set. Although if he puts it out high enough, I suppose that's the proper answer. And the damage building up ever so slightly for Jakal. Zomba not out of the woods yet.
Not at all. 145 is a lot of rage. And oh, what? Wait a minute. He had to have F tilted, right? He had to put himself in there.
It's a big back air. But yes, there was some sort of negative disjoint that put itself towards the very edge of back air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like it was forward tilt. Good call, Google. Like, there's our reset.
I like how even Zomba shook his head. It's like, oh, man. I mean, maybe it wasn't even at the final stock and how that interaction played out, but how it was forced to get to that interaction at all. And Jakal put on a unanswered 88 before that back air connected. I mean, if there is anything that Jakal can pin his coat on, it is that you're making a solid comeback, and your combo game, despite everything, is still on point.
It wouldn't be the first time where we would see Zomba reset Grand Finals and Jakal still managed to clutch it out for the night. But like, something's got to give when it comes to how well Jakal can hold down the fort. Because Zomba seems to be making the plays necessary to adjust the play more and more defensively as these games go on. Like, the level of platform camping we've been seeing from the previous Game 3 compared to that Game 1 was almost night and day. I think Zomba needs to lean a bit more into that in order to find something, because Jakal comes out the gate finding that quick kill in spite of all the damage built up onto him.
I also want to throw out there that I think that Wolf Flash only killed was because R.O.B landed on the platform and bounced off instead of on the floor of PS2. Little things, and I mean, it could easily have been intentional as well. Not only was it spaced to the platform, but Jakal also angled the Wolf Flash upwards. Little things make a big difference in a matchup played so frequently between these two players. And Jakal's looking to get off to a strong start yet again.
Like, doing what he can to keep up the lead, although you see these stocks climbing. I feel like the big picture is so important in this kind of a matchup because, like, you know that neither of these characters nor these players are going to struggle to get damage down. Hell, you saw how close the end of Game 3 came to that. So, like, really maintaining your mental fortitude and just trying to not show every mix-up that you have available is much more important than just winning out one or two neutral interactions.
I mean, Zomba's basically walking in and showing exactly what you were bringing, exactly what you were saying into fruition. Down tilts and missing the tech, but not covering the roll in, instead trying to shoot the gyro on the roll or neutral get up away.
I'm very impressed with how much work late Nair is putting in for Jakal today. Like, feigning a lot of empty hops and then eventually putting out Nair gives me such a strong response to the way that R.O.B is able to play around shield. And that's really important when you consider that gyro throw out of shield is a fantastic out of shield option. People sleep on the ability to throw items out of shield and how much that can augment shield pressure. But here, Jakal is a foolproof plan regardless of gyro's presence, and I think that's brilliant.
Now he just needs to find a foolproof way to take to both even up this game and make it decisive. Zomba's timing on his defensive picks have been so crucial. These spot dodges have most frequently been on point whenever Jakal wants to take a beat out. Oh, the There's a tech away and almost getting caught by another back air, but here comes the grab.
Not enough percentage yet for up throw to threaten, and the laser manages to miss his mark as well. Yet another neck and neck game. I feel like it's very hard to call any situation between these two decisive. Like, you just need to make sure that you get the KO on the other, and up throw off the plat certainly going to be able to find that for game 1 in Zomba.
And up smash looked like he was trying to really snipe out the platform, but Zomba heading straight for the center of that Pokeball and looking for and finding the punish just as effectively. Here we are in now Jakal's on set point.
Zomba put in a hell of a lot of effort to get us to this point, so we gotta see what we can do to bring it on home.
Would it be any other? Would it be a real fusion if these two didn't go to Game 3 of the true finals?
It happens pretty often, although we do have our nights here and there where one player just decides that they're playing better than the other. Tonight does not look like it's one of those nights. The way that both Zomba and Jakal have been playing it out, like they're doing their damnedest to just one-up each other. And I think the willingness to play right outside of burst ranges is just what's been looking so strong from both of these players.
Awkward mistech, but gets away with it just fine. Looking for the tech chase. Great DI up and just straight up from Zomba to not only avoid the tech chase, but find an absolutely ridiculously strong punish with that back air. Taking...
That was like an egregiously bold call from Jakal, although I guess fortune favors the bold. We get the tied stock count. Well, Jakal does need to be mindful about when those situations don't work out exactly as he planned, because Zomba keeping himself wide awake to find proper responses.
55% and missing the Nair afterwards. That late hit Nair not coming in clutch yet again. 90% on Jakal now as he goes for another neutral get up, but not finding the grab off of the rising fair. Precarious, great early recovery.
Where are we going?
Oh, straight down. Almost had that jump call out on the back air, but these frame traps still keep going. Look for another falling forward air, but just missing.
Phenomenal. The way that Jakal was reserved on the buttons he was putting out guaranteed that he would eventually find that kill. It was all a matter of reacting to where Zomba wanted to position himself, and good on Zomba for trying to stay adaptive. And I do really like when he was trying to just drop right in front of the ledge like that, but you gotta try to keep yourself constantly alive here. Up smash, pretty big call out in order to tie the stock count, but I think the fact that Jakal is playing this out a bit more defensively now and reacting accordingly, like we saw him really hitting his strides in earlier games, is making this a bit of a precarious situation for Zomba.
And I mean, a call out like that is important because you can't let Zomba, you can't let Jakal run all over you with throwing around Wolf's most premier combo starter, that being the falling fair. Still a whole 50% deficit. Doesn't take much for Wolf to close it out, and looking for the dash attack off that Nair. Not finding it, which means this is Zomba getting a chance to open him up. Another miss on the dash attack.
Barely out of range to find a proper punish. Very unfortunate for Jakal, and still plenty of opportunity for Zomba to be able to steal the game. If he manages to find his rotors back onto the stage, though, I think Jakal's been doing a great job of forcing Zomba to play from outside the box in this entire game, but here, this little breath of relief might be all Zomba needs to secure the set.
Oh, he gave up the spot dodge, but not able to find the stock still. 147. Ooh.
And into Game 6 we go. Well,
Game 6 by the skin of his teeth. That was great DI from Zomba, especially given how many angles Wolf dash attack can send at, depending on positioning and when you get struck by the dash attack at all. So, great reaction on Zomba's part, but just a little too much damage. Yeah, here we are. Game 6.
They got to tighten up their play if they want to win. I think that's the simplest of analysis that I can give you here, because we've seen great defensive play from both players. In fact, we're seeing it now, blaster shots aplenty. We've seen great combo game from both of them. Although we have seen a bit of a lack on the R.O.B silliness off stage from Zomba. Definitely, if there's a time as good as any to put it out, it'd be now. But what doesn't need to be said is that how well both these players are playing.
I mean, you can just see it visually. They're painting the words with their gameplay. Because every time Jakal feels safe going for things like tech away to escape all of these R.O.B change, he gets blown up by a fully charged laser. These late hit nairs that usually do so much instead get parried. Zomba answering the call in this game 3, but it's still not without his scrapes as Jakal puts on the pressure and puts these boots to work.
Out of Jakal not trying to commit to anything there, even though he had the airspace to do it. Controlling center stage has been a very big part of this entire set, and the previous Grand Finals set as well. So trying to stay proactive with that space is very important, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Punishing Zomba just for being on the platform for a tiny bit. I need to start seeing more of that if I want to see the Jakal call begin.
Not only that, but just really honing in on Zomba's spot dodge timings. Often not. Zomba will hold shield first and then lead that into a spot dodge, and that's exactly what Jakal ended up punishing, using the startup of the back air to his advantage. Just surviving, no air dodge, but a great angle keeps him alive.
Yeah, that was phenomenal survival skill from Jakal, even throwing himself into a nair. Gonna get hit with the weak point, so doesn't have to worry too much. Further building up this percentage lead.
Wow, the double jump forward to try and call out the dash away, but the weak side hitbox of up tilt into the up air, calling out the jump. 91.
That's all he needs.
Yeah, doable. I mean, you could say that about literally any situation with both these players. See, regardless of stock count, it's always winnable.
You know, until you see the other one on the win screen, like, you have a shot. That's how this game goes at any level of play, but that's, I feel, especially potent between these two because we've seen them make such big comebacks against each other in the past.
56, but gets a fall off nair. Fall off fair, excuse me, but that nair ends up getting blocked.
Yeah, in a situation like that, I think now is the point where Jakal needs to be very mindful how often he's threatening his shield with Nair. Good jump call out with the back air there, but something to keep in mind is when your moves start staling on shield and not having as much potency for their ability to keep your opponent in shield stun. Like, if you keep on threatening Nair after Nair after Nair after Nair, not only does it get predictable, it just isn't as good of an option. You do have to stay mixy to some regard.
I mean, we're still going to be seeing plenty of Nair, that's for sure. Definitely not stale enough on that sweet hit to get hit by R.O.B up smash. Jakal finding these jump callouts, but extending his hitbox into the back air yet again. This time from the other side as Zomba catches a little bit of a break with only 80% to his name.
Wolf's arms are just too long for his own good.
He's a little bit taller than Fox, and we're getting to see it here.
Dare I say Wolf is big as well? Shocking.
The truth may surprise you. 50%. Jakal trying to play as careful as possible, just relying on these reversals, gets the dash attack and the gyro in hand.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And throwing it upwards, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I was just about to say. Occupy the airspace? Make Zomba pay the price for that super high recovery? What better price to pay than with your life? That's how Jakal's gonna secure Fusion number... What are we at? 96?
96.
It's 96, right?
96.
That's a good way to take 96. Watch that. Even Zomba wasn't here for it. Even Jakal wasn't here for it.
All right.
Didn't know.
The smash throw directly upward, and that I mean, Wolf's got some strong arms because that went flying.
Like, one thing we've emphasized tonight, we see Jakal versus Zomba a lot. So it's nice to see a little bit of a mix-up on how it's going to end, because I'm a betting man. I would not have told you with any odds that shit was happening. There's just no way.
That's the play you make every time when you have gyro in that spot, because you basically draw a nice horizontal line and say, hey, don't cross this line until you think it's safe. And Zomba crossed the line.
Honestly, like, the value of doing that is more in, like, just getting gyro away from
exactly,
Zomba. Like,
right?
But it's got